Welcome. In this video, I will explain the components and basic working principle of a protection system, various protective schemes, zones of protection, and essential qualities of protective relay. First, let us look into the components of a protection system. The main components of a protection system are the circuit breaker, relay, trip coil, battery, current transformers and potential transformers. So what is the function of current transformer and potential transformer? So this current transformer and the potential transformers or the voltage transformers, they will reduce the current and voltage to a standard value which is very low, and it will isolate the protective relay from the high voltage which is present in the power system. So these are the major components. Other major component is the relay. So what is the function of this relay is, the relay will send a command or it will send a signal to the circuit breaker so that it can disconnect the faulty part. That is a function of relay. Then circuit breaker. It is a switching device. It is a mechanical switching device. It can either carry the current or it can break the current under normal operating conditions, and when there is a fault occurred, it can open its contacts or nothing but it can break the circuit. So under normal operating conditions, the relay contacts, this is the relay contacts, it will be normally open and the circuit breaker contacts will be closed. I repeat, under normal working conditions or normal operating conditions, the relay contacts are usually open and the circuit breaker contacts should be closed. So how does this work? This circuit breaker, it has two contacts. One is fixed contact and the other one is moving contact. So whenever the relay sends a signal to the circuit breaker, what it does is the moving contact will separate from the fixed contact. These two are fixed contacts. So the moving contact starts to separate from the fixed contact and an arc is formed here. Okay, an arc will be formed between the moving and fixed contacts. So you have a suitable medium to interrupt the arc, such as you have an oil circuit breaker or you have air circuit breaker, you have a SIP6 circuit breaker, vacuum circuit breaker. So using this circuit breaker, you can interrupt the arc. Now let us see how actually it works. So under normal conditions, as I have told you, the relay contacts will be open. So whenever a fault has occurred, as you can observe, the fault occurring point is this. So what will happen is, the current through the current transformer will increase so that your relay coil gets energized. When the relay coil gets energized, it automatically closes. Okay, once it closes, your circuit is closed so that the current flows through this particular trip coil, which in turn will make the moving contacts separate from the fixed contacts, so that you are disconnecting the faulty part, from the main power system. This is how the protection system operates. Now let us see what are the protective schemes available. So there are 4 different protective schemes available which will protect the equipment or any section of the line. So first one is overcurrent protection, second one is distance protection, next is carrier current protection, and the last one is differential protection schemes. So what is meant by this overcurrent protection? This overcurrent protection, it is mainly used for the protection of distribution lines, large motors and equipments. It has numerous overcurrent relays. OC is overcurrent relays. So what is the function of overcurrent relay? Whenever the current exceeds its pickup value, the relay has to operate. That is overcurrent relay. So detailed explanation for overcurrent relay will be explained in the upcoming videos. Next is distance protection. This distance protection scheme is especially used where we have lines, that is protection of transmission lines or sub-transmission lines, usually of very high voltage 33, 66 kV or so. So what it has? It has numerous distance relay. It has distance relays. Distance relay is, it measures the distance between the relay location and the fault location. So distance relay always measures the distance between the relay location and the fault location in terms of impedance reactance. So if the point or if the fault lies within the protected zone, the relay is going to operate. The next one is carrier current protection. This is used especially for the protection of extra high voltage lines or ultra high voltage lines, wherein usually around 132 kV. There you are not directly going to measure the magnitude of the current. What actually is done is the phase angle of the current at the two phases of the lines are compared. Okay, you are not going to measure the actual current which is flowing, but instead of it, phase angle between the two phases is measured in the case of carrier current protection. So that value of phase angle will decide whether the fault is internal fault or external fault. If it is an external fault, the relay will not trip. If it is an internal fault, the relay will trip. The last one is differential protection. This is the most important one. Again, it is especially used for the protection of generators, transformers and bus zones or motors which is of very large size. So in this differential protection, if you have a line, you will have CTs placed on both the sides. So whatever current is entering this one, the same amount of current should leave. If there is a difference between the entering current and the leaving current, that means there is a fault and the relay will trip accordingly. So these are the CTs. So overcurrent protection will have overcurrent relay. Distance protection will have distance relay. They employ distance relay to measure the distance between the relay location and the fault point. Carrier current protection, it measures the phase angle instead of the magnitude of the current. Differential protection, it will have CTs on both the sides of the power system wherein you monitor the entering current and leaving current. If entering and leaving current are different, the relay is going to operate. If it is same, then it will be under the normal operating conditions. Next, coming to the zones of protection. What is meant by zones of protection? So as you know, in a power system, you will have various equipment. Say you will have generators, transmission line, distribution line, transformers, bus bars and many more. So what we have to do is we have to protect each equipment. Say if your power system is having generators, transformers, bus bars, You should have a separate protection for generators, separate protection for transformers, separate protection for bus bars, separate protection for transmission lines. Now, this separate protection is observed here. See here, this is for the generator, this is the bus bar, this is the transformer, this is again the bus bar, this is the transmission line. Again you have transformer, but you can see a overlap. Why the overlap? That is because, say suppose you have a generator, okay, and you have a bus bar, and again as you have here, it is a transformer. Now this can be having one protection, okay, this will have a separate protection, this will have a separate protection. This is generator, this is bus bar, and this is the transformer. Now why overlap is observed between these? That is because if we have a fault which is occurred somewhere at this point, the protection system of generator nor the protection system of the bus bar will identify this fault, because you have restricted the protection to generator itself, you have restricted the protection to bus bar itself. That's why any fault which is occurring between generator and bus bar will not be identified by this. In the diagram, the distance is very near, but actually practical situation, this will not be near. That's why if the fault has occurred somewhere between the generator and the bus bar, the fault will not be detected by either the generator or the transformer. So what will happen? Both will get damaged. In order to avoid that, you should have one more zone of protection, that is generator, bus bar and the middle line. So overlapping is must. Okay, you cannot avoid the overlap. In such case, how it works? If a fault has occurred here at this point, the circuit breakers at the generator, the circuit breakers at the bus bar, both are going to trip. Clear? So if we have a protection system which is designed only for generator, it will protect only generator part. If it is designed for the transformer side, it will protect only the transformer. But we also need to take care of the connecting part. So if the connecting part, if there is any failure, then the protection system at generator as well as the bus bar, both are going to get affected. That means more number of circuit breakers will get tripped if a fault has occurred at this particular point. So how is this protection classified? This protection is mainly classified as primary protection and backup protection. So what is meant by primary protection? Primary protection means, say suppose we have a main bus bar, this is the main bus line, and we have this is one more bus bar wherein you have many lines which are coming out. Okay, these are the lines. So from main to bus bar, again here you have this circuit breaker. Okay, you have a connection, you have a protection system for it. Again for this lines also you have the CT and the associated circuit breaker you have. Now this is line 1, this is line 2. If there is a failure in line 1, this particular circuit breaker is going to operate. If there is a fault in line 2, then the second circuit breaker is going to operate. So circuit breaker for individual lines, it becomes the primary protection for that particular line. In case there is a fault in this particular circuit breaker, which circuit breaker? Line 1 circuit breaker, if there is fault, then this circuit breaker, which is the main circuit breaker, that has to operate. That is called as backup protection. Backup protection is the protection system designed in which will work in case your primary protection gets failed. So again, if there is a fault in line 2 and the circuit breaker of line 2 fails to operate, then the circuit breaker M, that is the main circuit breaker, will operate, which acts as a backup protection. So there are three types of backup protections. One is remote backup, other one is local backup, and the third one is breaker backup. We will see each of this one by one. In the case of a remote backup, you will have two protection systems. Say, I'll write that protection system as circuit breaker 1 and circuit breaker 2. There are two protection systems. They are located in different places, different locations. Circuit breaker 1, circuit breaker 2 placed at different locations designed to protect the same power system. Okay. Whereas local backup is also known as relay backup. Relay backup. Here, for one circuit breaker, you will have only one circuit breaker for protecting one equipment. But for the same circuit breaker, you will have two relays, relay 1 and relay 2. Circuit breaker is only one. For the same circuit breaker, you will have two relays, two trip coils. That is called as local backup or relay backup. So if this relay fails to operate, then this particular relay R2 will make the circuit breaker to trip. That is local backup. The last one is breaker backup. So in this, you will have two different circuit breakers, circuit breaker 1 and circuit breaker 2. Both will be placed in the same location. Both placed in the same location. So summarizing all three, remote backup, you will have two different protection systems. That means says I have two different circuit breakers, both are placed in different location. Local backup, I will have only one circuit breaker. For that circuit breaker, I will have two relays. That means two trip coils. So if one relay fails, other relay will operate. So that the same circuit breaker is going to trip. The last one is breaker backup, where you will have two different circuit breakers but at the same location. So if one circuit breaker is failed to operate, the circuit breaker 2 is going to operate. That is the backup protection. Now, coming to the qualities of protective relay. The first quality is selectivity. Selectivity means in the entire power system, the fault might occur at any point. So the circuit breaker or the protective relay, it should be able to clearly identify at which region the fault has occurred. So it should be able to discriminate between the healthy part of the system and the faulty part of the system. So selectivity or nothing but discrimination is the most important quality of the protective relay. The next is speed. Speed is as soon as a fault is identified, the relay has to send the signal to the circuit breaker to trip. That is, it should operate as fast as possible. That is speed. Next is sensitivity. Sensitivity is even though a fault magnitude is very low, then the fault current magnitude is very low, the relay should be sensitive enough to operate. That is sensitivity. And especially when there is a sudden inrush of current, that is you have the magnetizing current of large transformer, it should not be treated as a fault current. Okay, with that also the relay should take care of. The next is reliability. So it under the fault conditions, the relay has to operate. The protective system, it should operate reliably whenever a fault has occurred in its zone of protection. If primary protection fails, then the backup protection has to come into action. Next is simplicity. So the design of the protection system should not be very complex. It should be very simple in design. And the last one is economy. So your protection system should not cost more. It should be less than 5% of the total cost of the system. So these are the properties of protective relay. Failure in the protection system is mainly due to the failure of the relays or the circuit breaker. So here you can see mainly that the relays contribute almost to 44% of the total failures which occurs in the protection system, whereas your DC supply affects very less. So we need to take care of each and every component of a protection system so that the power system is protected from any faults. In the next video, I will explain the various types of relays available. Thank you.